Hello, lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore for me.
I'm gonna try and so something fucked up with my light, and I'm gonna surreptitiously turn it on, and we're gonna have a nice smooth.
My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
And I don't know what my name is because I just got neuralized by the fucking Men in Black.
What light were you turning on? What were you doing?
Because I have this really stark overhead light, so when my ring light is not on, I'm cast in half shadow, which maybe I should have been for Talon. But for some reason it turned off, and when you turn it back on, it resets to the brightest, widest light that God himself could not replicate.
I was first wondering, I'm looking at you as I'm doing the intro, and he was like in the dark, and I was like, is Mark okay? Should I stop? And then it was like car headlights had gone through the window. Anyway, today we're talking about the Blade Shadow Talon. Was released August 24th, 2011.
Old
Damn.
boy.
I guess, yeah.
I didn't realize it was that old. I thought you were gonna say like 2013 maybe for him. But I guess he's got a judgment, so
Yeah, he was pretty early on after I started at Riot.
he kind of feels that way in his everything about him, really.
Everything.
His lore or lack thereof.
Even his visuals, his 5 quotes or whatever,
Oh my god, I know.
Does he have less than
I was looking
Cassidans?
through them, and I couldn't even pick one out to read. I was like, none of these. I'm not stimulated.
Right. I have some fun facts about his quotes.
Oh, okay, interesting. I'm curious. Was it that they hooked Travis Willingham into a box for 5 minutes and just I don't know, you're an assassin. Quick, what do you got?
What do you got?
That's kind of what it seems like. And no offense to everyone who wrote the quotes, some offense. But it does seem like they threw the voice actor in a box and were like, I don't know, man. You're an assassin.
You played Assassin's Creed, right? Just kind of like fucking vamp a bit.
Right. So what's he got on the universe?
What's he sound like?
Yeah.
All right. God, I don't know. Do you think maybe my cold? I'm quite sick right now. If you can't tell, do you think maybe this is going to add authenticity
I think so.
or take away?
Actually, yeah.
It's gonna make your voice.
He's
deeper.
a little growly, right?
Yeah.
Is that it? I listened to him 25 minutes ago, and I already forgot. All right. On the razor's edge. That wasn't it at all.
It sounded like Kennen.
That sounded like, oh man, hell yeah. So there's just, the cold just makes me a yordle.
Nice.
On the razor's edge.
Ooh, that's kind of good, actually.
Thank you. I just turned into John when I'm sick. Okay, great.
Interesting. It's like a weird evolutionary.
I turn into you.
Yeah. Well, that's sweet, I guess. Sounds like another body for the gutter.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I lost another blade. I wonder who it's in this time.
That's it. Emo, edgy assassin, right? Is kind of what he is. He's weird, right? He's kind of a weirdo. Is it just me?
Super weirdo.
Okay.
He is, yeah. In that color story, anywhere else,
he's a creep. He's a
yeah.
real fucking creepo in that color story. And you know what? I could see it. In his eyes in the Katarina comic, you could see the creep fucking weirdo, behind those eyes. Yeah. And then as he reveals his true nature at the end, you're like, oh, I knew it, you creep weirdo.
Fucking creep weirdo.
Been really hard on Talon right now. I don't know what's wrong with me. Sorry.
So on Universe.
Oh, yes. Wow, John. I was getting to that. You don't have to do my job for me. On the Universe page, Talon has a bio and a short story, and then some sketches.
And he doesn't have much more than that off Universe.
No. I guess he's in a comic.
Katarina comics, but
it's not like those are linked on her page, so
right. Which if you've read his lore on Universe and then you read the comic, you're going to see two very different talents.
Very different talents. Mm-hmm. I don't know who this man is.
This boy.
This boy. Right, this young gentleman.
How old is he? It's like Talia all over again.
Yeah, as I say, they seem to have pulled him. Like, they say, oh, that's in the comics. It's like, oh, you did that when you were a boy, Tal. It's like, I don't know. He still looks pretty fresh to me in this one. I don't know.
He's still bawling his fucking eyes out right now.
Oh, well, you can cry as
from
a man.
Just one tiny scratch.
You know what? Sometimes that hurts.
Right? He only cried for 20 minutes, okay? I
wasn't expecting this toxic masculinity from you, John.
You're turning into John. He's turning into, I don't know, someone else. Everything's gone weird.
Weirdo.
I'm General Dukuto.
Yeah. So I don't have any notes on the bio, by the way. Dooku bro. I love it. Whoa. Sick.
I have several notes.
Okay.
Great. I feel like I could summarize the bio pretty quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
It's 3 paragraphs.
All right, Talon. I was so short. John, your notes are longer than the bio.
They probably are.
Great.
I was reading it and I was like, oh, I gotta read this bio. Oh, I'm done. I remember I was on my phone and I scrolled down once and I saw the bottom of the bar and I was like, okay, shit. I knew Talon wasn't gonna have a lot of lore, but calm the fuck down, man. Bio is by unknown, according to John. With
even on the wiki, there's no fucking credit for this
Nobody
bio.
knows.
That's how old it is.
Wow.
Well, I mean, when you look at the old lore, like a spoiler for that section, it's just this bio word for word, and they just they snipped the tip off of and then he went to the League of Legends, right? And that's really
they circumcised it, and that was it.
Yeah.
All right.
It is word for word. And actually, if I had to guess, let me.
They had one idea for Talon. It was like, you're an orphan.
All right.
That's all they do.
Guys, get this. I got a new champion idea. Parents are dead. Check it out.
Or somewhere. Who knows?
Or somewhere, yeah.
I think this may have been Devin Greel.
Oh, interesting. I'm curious what makes you think that.
What? You're looking at me like I should, know who the fuck that is.
I don't know.
I think that was one of the people I interviewed with.
Oh, okay.
When I was trying to get in.
And while you were interviewing, he was like, I'm currently writing the bio for Talon.
So here's the pitch.
She said that Talon...
God, now I'm a misogynist.
So she said that this was one of the first champions she worked on. So whether that means she did the bio or whether that means... I mean, she didn't do the short story because that's newer. But my guess is that means she did the bio.
Huh.
And then worked with Alex Yee potentially on the quotes.
Okay. Well,
but wasn't as involved in the
Sorry
quotes.
about the quote comment that I made earlier. They were all really good.
She has some strong feelings about the quotes.
Okay, I'm very...
I'll get into
You're
that.
right. They suck.
You're intriguing me. I'm not terribly interested in Talon, but all this mystery that you're kind of building up is getting... Yeah. I'm into the goss,
the story
dude.
of Talon. That's more interesting.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Talon... I feel we got nothing new from his bio that we didn't already know, just based on what we've learned about Katarina. He was a normal orphan in the Noxian sewers. I don't know. They just said he was like in underground in Noxus, which it seems like there's a lot of people just living underground there.
There are, yeah. It's just kind of the place to be.
I guess that's where thieves are in a lot of fantasy stuff, right? They just like live.
Yeah, they use sewers and stuff. And, yeah.
They find old jeans to boil. Yeah.
And they split that denim 50-50. That's honor amongst thieves right there.
Always gotta get that funny reference in. Anyway, yeah. He's a thief. He's real cutthroat. A lot of people... He made a name for himself, I guess, at the top, just being such a good damn thief. A lot of assassins have come after him, and none had bested Talon until General Dukuto. And when he was bested by General Dukuto, he's like, I'll come and work for y'all, but only for you, because you're the only one who proved that you're better than me. So he started working for General Dukuto, and then we know more based on just comics and stories afterwards.
Right.
He was with him long enough that he considers him family now, and that's kind of where the bio ends.
And also, the bio ends in something that we now know was completely false. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's the last paragraph, right, is Marcus goes missing, and Talon wants to go find him. And originally, that's why he joined the League. And it's like, I don't even know if we can consider that to be even accurate. It's not like written in like, oh, Talon secretly knows, or even like the bio is tricking us, the reader.
He looks great, though.
Oh no, I've disconnected. In the middle of my point, even.
He'll come back,
Normally we hear him.
Yeah, now he's just
gone forever.
Fully DC'd. Well, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Oh,
there he is.
He's back.
There he is.
Yeah,
he looks mad. You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm very disappointed in myself and my internet, but that's life.
I'm sorry. You got that brand new internet, and then
this.
I think there's something wrong with my thing. Anyway, yeah, last paragraph's probably not even like accurate. We should just ignore it almost.
Yeah, it's basically just saying that he was obsessed with trying to find Dukuto, wanted to know what happened to him, and we know from the Katarina comic, he knows exactly what happened to him because he helped him fake his death.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny in the Cat comic that they end up being so buddy-buddy, because I feel like that was like the old relationship between them, like back in the League of Legends. Yeah, is that they were more... They were together and like, we got to figure out what happened to Dad. But... you know, it's almost very like supernatural almost. I'd love to see those two kicking around trying to find Marcus. And then they changed it. In the in kind of the modern incarnation to where they're rivals, and now they've gone back to the well of actually they're going to be buddy again. So
they were right. I guess piecing together everything that happened, it was General Dukuto had sent, what's his name, Marcus? Okay, Marcus had sent Talon to kill Katarina at some point. He failed at that, and then now they're brother and sister.
You know, a tale as old as time, right?
Yeah.
That's why he's so good. He's like, I cannot keep getting brothers and sisters. I got to kill everyone. Anyone I miss, now a sibling. Very awkward family reunions.
So there's a quote here. Noxian guilds sent assassins to him with a demand: join their ranks or be killed. He was like, no, I'm not fucking interested. I'm gonna kill all of them instead. But why though? Like, you literally just said you're scraping out a living, and you could just keep doing what you're doing, but with a guild and resources.
Because
and shit, and
they weren't even good enough to beat him. So what good is this guild?
Well, okay. Well, that leads another question. That's a risky fucking game, because one, you really have to hope that the one who can defeat you lets you live, because you sure as hell didn't let any of the others live. Like, you gotta hope that they let you live, and then you also have to hope that they have lower standards than you do, because if they were able to beat you, like, why the fuck do I want you to work for me?
Yes, it's a weird turn. Your ass. I guess you could boil this down to he's just a dumb kid, but we don't know how old he is in this part at all.
Yeah, I mean, I assume
younger, right?
A young adult at this point. Certainly not a... Yeah. I didn't even think teenager.
I would say a young teen. I thought he was a teen, maybe, but...
I mean, if we look at...
Because for him to have a brother-sister relationship with Katarina, I feel like he had to have gone with Marcus pretty young.
That's true.
Right?
It's so hard because looking, like, you can't really look to the bio because it's so...
I feel like none of the bio is true anymore,
right?
Honestly. Yeah.
But it's also hard with the... even the short story, I guess, because I don't... None of it reads to me like they're young in that, and they don't have that relationship established.
Yeah.
But again, that was written in the context of the original bio anyway, so it's like...
I really think the comic is the only Talon lore we really have.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of like interpreting where he's at now, I do like the short story and how he's kind of portrayed in it, or like it offers like a glimmer of like a hook with him. So I'd like them to kind of marry the two if they do anything with him, which they won't. Who gives a fuck?
No.
Right.
What I was going to say to your point, John, is if we look ahead to the short story, what we kind of see about Talon is that he is super duper into like being a perfect assassin. He's chasing the dragon. He calls it... I feel like this was like the writer winking at the audience. He calls it the edge. It's like, I need to find the edge, that state of perfection, unattainable. So he probably
so
I can be an edge lord.
Yes. So
we
he's
both made very bad edge jokes at the same time.
I love them. But yeah, so we can kind of assume he doesn't join the assassins because he's probably is more interested in just trying to be, like I said, the best. He wants to be perfect at it in every way, whatever that means. So he doesn't really care about surviving, I think, at that point. And so anyone able to beat him represents maybe an imperfection that he might. So you know. And even in when he's fighting Kat in that story, there are multiple times where she could have killed him, and he kind of was like, yeah, and if she had killed me, this is like old Riven almost. If she had killed me, I deserve it, right? I'm fine with it, getting ganked. So, you know, it seems reasonable to me with that in mind.
Yeah.
There was another quote that said, the assassination attempts grew increasingly frequent until one assailant met Talon blade for blade in a match of strength, which we know that's you know, Marcus. And not to actually this, but if you're gonna meet someone blade for blade and your Talon size, you do not want to be using strength for that, because Marcus is gonna fucking destroy you in a contest of strength. You better use your tiny frame for speed, or you're gonna be fucked. And if you're smaller and slower, well, I mean, you're dead anyway, Talon. You're never gonna reach the edge. Sorry.
Maybe a little jiu-jitsu for him. I don't know. That seems like something that would work. Fuck, I'm not a martial arts guy. Whatever they're called.
Learn that Aikido.
I've heard of that.
The only notes I have.
I'm really happy this short story exists, I'll say, because without it, I think I would tear really fucking hard into this. Like, when you read it, it's so, like, really bad character backstories. Like, I was a super cool assassin. I didn't know any warmth except the warmth of, you know, the shadow and a blade and shit like that.
It literally is. It definitely has those first D&D character vibes for sure.
I was such a good assassin. All the assassins sent their assassins to assassinate me, and I assassinated the assassins. And none of them could do it.
Yeah, I assassinated every assassin. It even said, like, he responded to their threats by dumping their bodies in the river or something like that.
Only when the best, coolest, most awesome assassin came to kill me did I relent. Right? It's like,
and now he's my dad.
I'm gonna be the best son ever.
On the bright side, I do feel like they nod to this in one of his AUs, which is nice.
Oh, really?
At least acknowledging it, because to not acknowledge it,
I mean, it's. I don't think it's strange. You know, it's during the time when they were creating all of these champions, and some of them are going to have, a lot of them are going to have, like, very generic stories, right? I mean, I feel like the original lore team wasn't. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't about the lore then, right? As much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's 2011, right? He is so hard into, like, biting on the Assassin's Creed thing that it's just like, they're like, we just want an assassin. We want somebody, when you look at him, someone who's into Assassin's Creed or kind of like into action games can look and be like, oh, that looks, I get what that guy is. He's an assassin.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because of that, he's just so simple, right? He doesn't have the hook.
Yeah.
If we'll think about it, and especially in the light of the color story, he's just like the very, very early prototypical Jin. He's an assassin who's got compulsions, and those compulsions are the things that could be interesting. And that's just like, that's what Jin is, and Jin works because they, you know, they developed all that shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, there's big P word here.
Well, I wouldn't even say that, honestly.
There's glimmer.
If rewritten.
Yeah. Or if you get, like, if you did something more, I don't know, you could always make anything good, right? I guess.
I think if they dig into this edge / one blade shit, because that's something that he says as, like, a throwaway line in the short story too, like, the one blade, like, I want to know more about that. I remember we read this for Katarina, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of excited to read Talon now. I want to learn more about this one blade shit. And then
no, that was it.
That was
you got it
the
all.
Only reference. Yeah. That was all of it. I want to teach me, you know? Maybe it's a spiritualist thing. The way of the one blade.
He has way more than one blade in game.
Only one that matters.
Yeah,
he only ever needs to use one. The rest are just for show.
Well, fuck no, that's bullshit.
Except all those ones. Yeah.
You know who he reminds me of, by the way, so much. God, I'm forgetting his Diego from Umbrella Academy.
Oh, nope. I don't watch that.
Don't watch it.
Sorry. Someone at John and tell me he's on Twitter. Go on the Discord and at John. Talk about Umbrella Academy with him.
Yeah, I'd love it.
He's dying too. Yeah, I don't watch it.
He's a blade thrower.
Oh, a blade thrower.
But he's also just like super edgelord.
Sure.
Not quite as bad as Talon, but
who is?
You know.
I mean,
man, Talon's really like the male not Katarina, the male Morgana in that sense. Huh?
Oh yeah,
sure.
Just being so edgy.
Yeah.
Or maybe Vex.
Yeah, well, Vex is way more self-aware. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the unironic. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. But yeah, so... Wait, did we introduce the short story yet?
We've been talking about it a bunch.
Yeah.
Because it's the only real, like, it in the comic or have actual meat on the bones. Yeah, it's called The Name of the Blade. I didn't write down who it's by, actually.
Ian St. Martin.
Okay. Yeah, it's from Talon's perspective. He's watching Katarina do some assassination, essentially. He's just kind of up in the rafters, I think. Or kind of hidden away and just watching. And he's watching her.
I do love that his action piece, he's
just
stationary,
like creeping in the shadows watching a woman.
Very capable, independent woman killing a bunch of people. He's been doing it for hours, actually. The story kind of tells us later on. And he's watching her and he's kind of like taking in, oh yeah, she does all these things that I've been trained to do, but sometimes she breaks convention. And he kind of has a disdain for it. He doesn't like that she does that. He thinks she's kind of being too flashy and whatever. She's letting her emotion take control. And then he has kind of a flashback to when he went to go kill her, and how he had been sitting there ready for her. He had planned everything out. It was all like, this is perfect. I've got everything ready to go. And he went to strike her, and he did hit her, gave her the old scar on the face, but didn't kill her. And because of that failure, immediately kind of relinquished sort of any feeling of, I need to punish her for her failure, because I myself am also a complete fucking failure. They fought, but he didn't really... They kind of say, like, she fought, he just kind of didn't let her kill him, and there were moments where he could have killed her, but he kind of saw it as almost hypocritical to kill her, and so just kind of let her go, and so he's just kind of watching her, and as she kind of finishes up what she's doing, he's sort of like, well, I've got this one blade that he's been kind of fiddling with, and it's called Katarina. If I ever get sent to go kill her again, this will be the one. And then and we talked about that idea that he's super into this idea of like this unattainable like flow state of being a perfect assassin is what he wants to do and be, and he calls it the Edge. It's very funny.
It is really funny.
Yeah,
they should rename that. I feel like
I say leave it.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
But make it very clear that we're laughing. Yeah, lean into it.
Yeah. Talon, you've been edging all night. You have to stop.
I can't stop. I'm so close, but yeah, there's like a couple moments in here I like. I think the moment I like the most is after he's in the flashback. He's struck Katarina, and he's like, he expects her to be dead, and she's not, and so he tells her, you should be dead, but not in like a cool, like, anyone else would have died. He like has a freak out. He starts yelling at her, no, you should be dead. You should be, like, he's like, he can't handle it. So
I do like the idea that he had that badass anime moment where you like shing together, and then he was like, I did it, and then he turns around. It's like when you turn away when you're bowling, and then you turn back and you're like, oh, gutter. Fuck me. That's why they're laughing. Shit.
Another ball for the gutter.
That needs to be a Talon quote for sure. Yeah, I'm curious, like, what? How do you
From the gutter I came, and from the gutter I will remain.
Oh, damn, that was good, honey. You should write for Talon.
He needs a ghostwriter.
He should be in the gutter. Get back in your gutter, Talon.
You fucking gutter rat. Go find Twitch.
So here's a few quotes here that I really like, how they highlight the edgelordiness of him.
Great.
My upper lip constricts, desperate to twitch, but I am stone. Succumbing to such weakness would only carry me further from the edge.
Trying to get on the edge. Desperate for Twitch. Trying to get on.
Also, he had an interesting quote here that I thought was pretty contradictory. As a child in the world beneath the Empire, I watched the ambitious rise head and shoulders above the fellows, just high enough for all to see them, standing out from the masses, and then I watched the masses butcher them for it. I learned the sanctuary of shadows quickly, the shield that silence can be, and never forgetting that has kept me alive. But, like, let's not forget, all those assassins were originally sent to kill him because of how legendary his skill with the blade had become. So, like, clearly he was not doing a great job at the shadows and silence and shit.
Yeah, how did he fucking get known so well?
Well, he kept leaving his business cards, and I think in retrospect that was a bad decision.
He's like, he had like a wet bandit situation going on. Where he's like, I gotta leave my calling card.
You're sick, you know that, Talon?
What do you think Talon's calling card would be?
Oh God,
he's gotta leave a blade.
I want to say like a rose or something. A blade stuck in something.
Roses.
A T just carved into the.
Ooh. Like, how do you carve an edge? Something that have to do with edge, something right?
Just carves the word edge into people. It's like, this sick fuck, he was edging all night on this dead guy.
He cuts the corners off all the tables.
Right? Sharp edges everywhere.
Oh shit, Talon was here. The edger struck again.
Oh
my
no.
Edges. He took them. He took all my edges.
Oh my God, that's the sound of all the cool of Talon, like if there was any deflating and just drifting off into the wind.
He's not cool.
He's not. He thinks he's very cool.
We also had another quote where Katarina was like, "What's your name?" He's like, "My name had never mattered. I told her so, but saw she would not relent. I thought back, remembering the world under the Empire then. Down there, in those final blood-soaked days before I left it all behind. They called me Talon." Like, okay, fine, that's your fucking name. Yeah, right. Say that. Don't be a fucking weirdo.
A few things. Real quick, there was a book I really liked as a kid called Downsiders, and it was about people who lived. It was by Neil Shusterman. Highly recommend it. It was about people who lived like under New York City secretly, and the main character's name was Talon. Also, I have loved the name since then, that when we were pregnant and didn't know the sex yet, Talon was on our list of boy names, actually.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
And I think I was the one who recommended adding it to the list of girls' names, too, because Talon, she was one of the main characters of Final Fantasy IX.
Oh, yeah. Poppy. Oh, well, you're welcome, Poppy. You were almost Talon.
Then you could have been edgy, too.
I would be so uncomfortable right now if we had named our child Talon and we're doing this episode with all the edgy jokes.
Every Talon is a piece of shit.
You heard it here. Bring the baby in. Since, yeah.
I also thought it was cute. You know, Rumble's mech is named Tristy and Talon's blade is named Katarina. It's real nice. Real cute. He has so much in common with the cute Yordle.
They both have bios that are basically non-existent.
Sure, yeah. They got
and
the same
probably
dad.
non-canon. What?
It's a Jerry Springer episode waiting to happen.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there's little glimmers that I think of where it could be fun to take Talon or do something with him. I like the idea of like having that veneer of this very generic, like just, you know, edgy, cool assassin guy, and then peeling it back and it's like, oh, he's actually just a fucking weirdo. He's just like, almost like, you know. But they seem to have abandoned a lot of that in the comic anyway. I don't know what's going on with the comic, to be honest with you. He's just kind of a guy. At least I felt like with it.
He's just a guy.
He's just a fella. He's there to facilitate the cat plot more than anything. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think he worked in the comic for what he is. I think he's a good side character, is kind of how I would consider Talon. I don't know how... Well, maybe now after this I'd be interested in seeing how Talon deals with the fact that Marcus is actually dead and Katarina is very much on Swain's side. Where does that leave him a little bit? But also, I might not give a shit because he's kind of a weenie boy.
I would really, we'll never get it, but I would like to see another comic series that picked up kind of immediately and did have follow Talon and followed him into Shurima with Cassiopeia and shit.
Yeah,
made him
very
weirder.
Curious.
I always liked you as the better sister anyway.
He's like, where are your legs? Where'd they go, sis?
So this is the opposite of an edge.
Your curves everywhere.
I was gonna say, I'm all edges, you're all curves.
Oh, fuck. I really want that now.
Yeah, me too.
Good night. That was so fucking funny.
Shit. But then they would have to develop Talon's and Cassiopeia's personalities, and that would be a big ask.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, it's almost like a blank slate. You can just do anything with them, really.
That's true.
It seems like
you get a good enough writer on there, it'd be fine.
Sure. I don't know. I would like it. I think it would be fun. It would be something unexpected and kind of interesting, I feel like, if they did some of that.
Yeah, that would be great. Shit. We're
Also,
not going to get it, so now I'm mad.
Right, no, right? That's the thing. Is like, if you never hope for anything, you'll never be disappointed. But here we are. Plus, I love
League of Legends.
Yeah, I know, right? I love the idea of him, like, getting done meeting Cass. It's like, oh, that was weird. It's like, also, Talon, this is Elise. She turns into a fucking spider or something.
She's here, too. He'll be like the Sokka of their group.
Yeah.
Everyone else turns into animals, and he's just like a guy with a fucking boomerang.
I kind of look like a bird. Doesn't that help? But I don't know. You want to talk about the comic though?
Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, it's the Mage Seeker prologue comic. It's mostly following Katarina, but Talon does show up, and it's like John, you kind of said earlier that it's almost funny. There's a little scene where she's looking out over Noxus, and she's kind of monologuing to herself internally, and you see Talon kind of sneaking up behind her in the shadow, and you're like, oh, what the fuck's gonna happen? And then it's like, hey Talon, hey Katarina, how you doing? And we find out that they're actually really close, brother and sister essentially, and that even though I guess from what the comic is telling us, he did stab her in the eye that one time. They were kids, right?
We've
or
all
he
made
was
mistakes.
Yeah, he was young.
That's not a great showing for Talon, by the way. His inability to sneak up on Katarina, even though it's also established that she's also drinking while doing this scouring of the town.
I guess that's true.
And he's in shadow the whole time. You had shadow on your side, inebriation. You still fucked it up, Talon. Where's the talent gone?
More like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a Talon pun. Sorry.
There's only really the one, and he's unfortunately sniped it from us. I'm not sick. I just can't think of anything. I'm sorry. My brain's slow.
There was, by the way, as he's sneaking up too, one of his blades is like glints off the light. You think that's the Katarina blade?
He's only got the one, apparently.
Yeah, I guess. Apparently. Probably. Maybe.
What are you drinking, Mark, by the way?
I was drinking
milky.
I was it's a strange milky fluid. It was a mudslide. Now it's nothing. It's mud slid into my
head. It's in a glass.
Yeah.
Ew, Mark.
Down his gullet. Where did you think he was going?
Yeah.
Just don't say mud slid into my throat. You know? Just maybe don't say those words together.
You know what? You can string any words together to make them sound dirty.
Especially if they end up with going down a throat.
That's funny how that works. But yeah, and so it kind of is reinforming us about their relationship, where even though they are very close, they still kind of don't see quite eye to eye. Katarina is super gung-ho Noxus, and Talon is much more, I don't know, practical, I guess. Like, he doesn't really agree with the way she assassinates people, and that you're gonna get yourself killed, Katarina, you keep doing this. And then crazy
We're gonna
shit.
lose you, sis. You're gonna get yourself killed. What would I do without you?
Yeah, frankly.
Think of the family.
You're all I got left. Our sister's a snake in the desert. What are we gonna do?
Oh, fuck. And yeah, so then the events of the comic happen. Katarina does some assassination in Demacia. Just some guy who she kills, no big deal.
Just some guy.
Some fella.
Dude.
Dude named Jarvan the Third or whatever. And she gets back, and I guess while Talon's not in the picture, it is established that she does really care about him, and a lot of the things she's doing is out of concern for him. And as like, if I don't do this, or if things fuck up, Talon's at risk, etc. But she gets back into Noxus, and she kind of knows that something's not quite right. Her dad has showed back up on the scene. And she goes to Talon because either he's in danger or he's kind of in on it. And they have this little sort of seemingly genial greeting where she comes in the middle of the night and he's like, oh Katarina, I was so sleepy with my bed cap, like his nightcap on and shit. I didn't hear you come in. But she notices that he smells like old cologne or whatever. She essentially is like kind of gauging his reaction and realizes, oh, he's not surprised that I'm here. He's not surprised about when me telling him that Dad's not dead, and he smells like the smell of like it's like was it Dad's like her dad's perfume or something.
Cologne her dad used to wear, which we dubbed Lo Dukuto.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah.
He's drenched in it. He's been out clubbing and he's trying to pretend that he didn't just get in the door. And so
his wife ran off to the desert with the snake daughter. You know,
right?
He's got to pick up a new woman.
And then they have a confrontation, and that's where he kind of unveils, like, you know what? I've known about Dad gone missing the whole time. And we're gonna overthrow the tyrant Swain, and how dare you ally with a demon and against the family? And she kind of gives him tit for tat and gives him his little face scar, and she's like, I'm not gonna kill you this time, Tal, but if you keep fucking around, I will. And then she leaves him there in the estate, and then we kind of get a little epilogue thing where their mother, I believe, is kind of writing to one of the Black Rose agents about, like, oh, Talon's down here in Shurima with us and he's recovering, so assumedly that's kind of where he's gone off to, is he's gone to ground in Shurima with his mom and Cassiopeia, and that's why we keep talking about her. So
yeah.
We learn an interesting tidbit of information about Talon here too. Apparently he is the best lockpick in Noxus.
Oh, is that when she's breaking in that opening little comic? She uses the little lockpick thing.
She's like, man, this would take the best lockpick in Nasus 30 minutes.
You really want to be that he's a Nasus, don't you?
God, did I say Nasus?
You said Nasus again.
Not Noxus. Noxus.
He's revealing his secret ship. Shame.
The Talon Nasus ship.
Yeah.
It's
Nasin. Talus.
Talus is got
Zelda enemy.
The Talus principle. No, okay.
Oh shit. That's true.
That was your smart guy answer, and the two of us were like, Zelda.
I mean, the Talus Principle is a video game.
It's just a video game. But it's a puzzle video game, so, you know.
That's true. Intellectual video game.
I thought it was some kind of historical thing.
Sure.
I love that right as Talon leaves, when he's like having that like lunch meeting with Katarina, when they have the whole "but family" conversation, Dran, who's, you know, Katarina's
side piece.
What we hope, side piece. We'll call it side piece. She says, "You'll always have a safe space here." And then right after she says that, a fucking grenade just drops through the ceiling and explodes. That was fun.
He was being metaphoric.
I do like the comic. The comic highlighted what a good actor he was. With, like, the fact that he's able to like really outwardly appear harmless to Kat for a good portion of their conversation. So much as like controlling his own heartbeat too, because she like went in for a touch kind of under the, you know, pretense of affection, but really just wanted to see his heart rate to see if he was lying, and he was just like totally controlled the whole time as he lied to her.
See, I mean, he's been lying to her for a long time.
I read that as she was expecting his heart rate to be elevated because there's a big, everything was kind of should have been unexpected to him, but it wasn't. He was actually very calm about the whole thing. But I could be wrong. She's not like explicitly like, I'm going to check if he's lying. Let's touch the old Talon chest. But regardless, yeah. Well, that's why
touch them pics.
Right. Well, that's why I would like to see a comic that would kind of took his perspective, and I would like a depiction of maybe like sociopathy through him, where he can affect like genuine human connection and stuff, but internally he's that weird compulsive like weirdo guy who only thinks about edging all the time or whatever, right? Like, and to see how
I would like that.
Something like that could be fun, I think.
Now it's interesting too that Katarina kept him alive afterwards too, because in theory she didn't necessarily know that she was going off to kill her dad. I think they knew there was going to be a confrontation, right? Where she was going to have to try and like stop her dad, but I don't know if the end goal was necessarily to kill him. Might not be remembering fully correctly, but what she does know is that following failed assassination attempts, like Talon just kind of did to Katarina, General Dukuto does not look too kindly upon that. So, I mean, that was probably just a death sentence, just him failing that. So if Katarina hadn't ended up killing Marcus probably would have killed Talon.
Yeah, maybe. Honestly, that could have been a neat thing for her to commit to doing. Like, I'm going to go stop him, and in doing so, still keep protecting you, even though you've you've betrayed me, you know, because she still cares for him, right? Like, that could be
nice.
fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I also want to see this new canonical Eye Scar Talon.
Yeah, let's get a new...
When are we getting that skin?
Yeah, Arcane Talon shows
For all
up.
the Talon play.
Arcane. Katarina Talon.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess I think I said before I would like to see. I kind of prefer them having the familial relationship. I think there's more potential there, and just wedding that with him being a weirdo. I keep saying it, but I really just like Talon as like a guy who's just like awkward and strange, and you can't really have a human conversation with him, things like that. Like if you're actually talking to him, things like that, you know. So.
Now, outside of this, he does show up in a few short stories, even though, you know, he's not featured in them. Now, we talked about the Katarina story, The Sinister Blade by Anthony Birch, which has some more conflicting information about Talon. One refers to Talon as a nameless whelp, which, you know, Talon might be a nickname. That's fine. But if she thought he was a nameless whelp, it was also weird to ask him for his name after the confrontation, which we know he did. Also says that he was dragged up from one of the Lesser Assassins guilds, which we were very specifically told he was not at all interested in any of the Lesser Assassin guilds. In fact, murdered all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also get a big yada yada moment here where it said, even with the blood streaming down her face, the years of rigorous training kicked in, and her blades were in her hands in an instant. This was right after she got stabbed by Talon. Then the sentence right after that, 6 hours later, she tossed Demetrius's severed head at her father's feet, who was a completely separate mark that she was out hunting before Talon attacked her.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. We got a story that showed it.
And then also shows up in Demacia Needs Heroes, which was Quinn's reveal, which is not technically canon, but since nothing about Talon has changed, it's probably still fine. This was just a journal entry where Quinn is scribbling notes on a wanted poster of Talon, basically just like explaining everything that's wrong about the wanted poster, how the killer can't actually be Talon because he was too sloppy and it's not his style, it's too obvious, and then he's like, I've got to go warn J4 about this. They're chasing the wrong man.
So you said writing notes. All I can imagine was her just repeating over and over, Miss Quinn Talon. Mrs. Quinn Talon. Little hearts over his eyes and shit. Yeah.
His name's Talon.
No, it's just the one, like Prince. Like, come on.
But, can you move the baby monitor, John? Sorry. The camera, rather.
Yeah, she rolled away.
She rolled away a while ago, but the sound waves have been quiet, so I assume she's chill.
Yeah, she's asleep. All right, so we got some old lore here. And first of all, Mark, you mentioned it. Her bio is literally just word for word the same shit, but they added Talon's suspicions led him to the doors of the Institute of War, where he joined the League of Legends in order to find those responsible for Dukuto's disappearance. But he also shows up in a few Journal of Justice articles.
Oh, God.
No, it's cool. It's cool. So it shows up, and actually two of them. Issue 30. So Talon, who was observed during the presentation of evidence. This was during kind of the big trial of Kalamanda, where there were, like, you know, both sides, Demacia, Noxus fighting each other, sabotage, all that shit. During the presentation of evidence has disappeared, and many Demacian citizens assert that Jarvan has put them in danger by working with Katarina.
Oh, no.
And then there's a mailbag of justice in this article that said, Talon has worked in the shadows to do General Dukuto's bidding for many years leading up to his disappearance. Were his daughters aware of his mysterious protege? Would either one be open to comment on Talon's existence and his relationship to them in their search for their father? And I think this was, I forgot to check, but I think this was by that, like, super smarmy Noxian dude.
Sure.
The article reads as something he wrote. As I understand it, Katarina is preoccupied in Demacia. Insert speculative tabloid headline here. Leaving no options but to consult her sister, the only woman I have known to attempt malting seductively. As I dispatched Olivia to Filthmere, I needed to endure in order.
To filth
Malting
malting seductively.
I still can't get over that.
I needed to endure, in order of annoyance, 2 Noxian assassination attempts, 4 tasteless advances from a serpentine diva, and countless inquiries from outgoing passerbys about my opinions of the weather we've been having.
God, it's so annoying when sexy women try to fuck you.
I love that they're constantly writing that the league champions want to fight them. It is
right.
It keeps happening
over and
like
over.
a lot.
Can't be coincidence. So I hope Cassiopeia's response is worth it, though, as it didn't come wrapped around a large bottle. I find this highly improbable. My sister and I certainly knew him, though we rarely saw the boy. He kept to the shadows and the sewers he'd come from, which... Keep to the shadows and the sewers you used to. And he took orders.
You know your next parody song. Ooh, shit!
Yeah, so, we knew about him, and we have the same goal. I can only wonder if the loyalty of the Blade Shadow ends with my father's disappearance.
We have the same goal. Talon also wants to fuck this writer.
We're gonna tag team him.
That was one of the assassination attempts.
Right.
It was an assassination attempt.
No. Moving on. Next Journal of Justice entry.
31. So it opens with a picture of Kat and Talon showing up in Noxus just in time to see Swain coronated. Also, this is the issue where the overarching conspiracy really pops off. So we find out that a High Counselor of the Institute of War, who got his position after the mysterious disappearance of his predecessor, was working with the Journal of Justice senior editors to pass coded messages to conspirators regarding the framing of Noxus and attacks against Demacia, to use the chaos as a way to gain control of the Nexuses in Kalamanda for the League of Legends. Luckily, authorities apprehended Relavash and Farmsley after Talon, who was acting independently, tracked them down to the outskirts of Noxus. They were brought into custody before they could seek asylum within Noxus, and their network of co-conspirators included many authors of the Journal of Justice. Arrests of these contacts will continue over the coming weeks as evidence is further reviewed. So, you really have Talon to thank for these guys being brought to justice.
Man, we've been wrong about
Talon. He's really
a
good guy.
He killed the Journal. He killed the Journal of Justice. God bless him. He was the hero we needed, not the one we deserved. Good guy, Talon. Fuck.
Now, he has a judgment. I want to point out here, if you combine the length of Talon's bio and his short story, it comes out to 1,450 words. Talon's judgment is 1,422 words. Wow. All on its own.
Wow.
Very important piece of lore.
That's nuts.
It is crazy. It's actually a bunch of backstory about Talon that we don't get anywhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he enters the Great Hall with wary anticipation, his gaze forward. The unknowing might consider him careless, but to his perceptive observers, it is apparent that Talon is infinitely aware of every detail of his surroundings. Which, again, to touch on like Baby's first D&D assassin, that's like, it's exactly someone who would just pour everything into like dex and strength and forget that perception's like a wisdom stat and not be able to fucking see anything. So this whole story kind of talks about his first kill. He was like, living in the sewers with his friend, and they had this whole thing planned where he was going to like rob a stall of some food because they were starving, and his friend was going to do a distraction, and then his friend gave him the signal, so he started stealing, but it never did the distraction part of it, so he had to run away, had to drop all the food, almost died, but managed to make it back to headquarters, and he was like, what the fuck, dude? And he's like, oh, yeah, sorry about that. But hey, look what I got instead. There's these really cool knives we can sell for money. Probably even more money than the fruit. He's like, dude, I could have fucking died. He's like, yeah, it's cool. So Talon takes the knives and just fucking kills him.
Could have had a conversation about expectations for
Let's do a little. Okay, let's do some did wells, some do betters. We'll have some action items.
That bit at the end of all the judgments too, where they're like, "How did it feel to expose your mind?" And he's like, he's like, "How does it feel exposing your mind?" The summoner released him. Talon grasped his cloak and vanished into the dark, leaving the reflecting chamber in utter silence. The summoner glanced back and forth, scowling, and stiffened when Talon's blade appeared at his throat. "Unpleasant," Talon growled into his ear. "Necessary." And then he was gone.
Nothing personal, kid. Right? I love it. You're like Dracula. I will say that part's pretty goofy, but I do like the moment when he's having the little argument with his friend, because the friend gives him the knife, is like showing the knives, and he grabs one, and he's like has like this weird epiphany, and he's like not even listening. He's like zoning out, just like, oh fuck, knives are fucking awesome. Daggers are fucking cool. This is it. This is the edge I've been looking for.
He held a knife and he was like, I found it. I was going to steal food. I'm going to eat knives from now on. This is all I need.
Yeah.
Took him a few epiphanies before he landed on his current one.
That's all right.
Y'all want to hear about some AUs?
Yeah. I think he has quite a bit of skins, yeah?
Not a ton. He's got like 8.
Let me look him up.
So first of all, Legacy. Treasures from days long past, glimmering just within reach. This one's Renegade Talon, which has no lore, but it does have a cool cannon hood.
He does. He's just wearing Kennon's hood. It's so weird.
Got this fucking...
It doesn't match the rest of his outfit at all.
Doesn't match it at all. Just an out-of-place cannon hood.
Really? Why did they do that?
Then we got Crimson Elite.
God, these old ones are something else. This is just Victor.
We can neither confirm nor deny the Crimson Elite's involvement in any criminal activities, and request all inquiries be directed to local authorities. And this is Crimson Elite Talon. The Crimson Elite cannot confirm or deny the existence of the agent known as Talon. The bloody trail left behind him serves as a sinister warning to all. Perhaps more disconcerting are the hundreds of undocumented cases that remain undiscovered.
Cases of what?
Right?
Of people...
Edging.
Yes, edging. Yes, thank you.
Man, these two skins have like the blurry background thing.
So that's back when they
released,
all over the...
everyone got released with two skins, so...
I love the Renegade one. It's so, like, with his, I don't know, man, with his kicks. Like,
I gotta see this in game, man. I really gotta see this in game. Yeah, he's wearing like a cannon hood and jeggings.
Fuck you! I won't do what you tell me.
Oh my god, he's basically saying that, and he's like a very strange color with glowing eyes. Like
I love it.
Interesting. Y'all gotta start using that skin in game more.
Fuck that! I'm not playing Talon.
I just meant like the audience, not us.
Oh, okay.
None of us
all
play
y'all.
Talon.
Then we got Warring Kingdom. 3 great empires vie for land and power, bringing their all to bear in a test of martial might. Armies will clash, heroes will rise, legends will be made.
Ooh.
This is Dragonblade Talon. Legend says that Talon's blades were forged in the fire of a shadow dragon, and that he turned against his corrupt masters, cutting through them one by one before vanishing into the night. Many believe he will appear again, whenever the strong take advantage of the weak. It's a very noble Talon.
Yeah.
Nothing like this next one. Moons of Ionia / Blood Moon. An ancient cult seeking irresistible power surfaces on nights of the blood moon to perform profane, esoteric rites, merging their flesh with the demonic spirits and becoming one with an ever greater darkness. This one is Blood Moon Talon. An anarchic demon summoned on the night of the blood moon. Talon was once a human assassin who surrendered his flesh during one of the cult's possession rituals. He now kills indiscriminately, relishing the terror in his victims' dying eyes.
All right. Okay. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Then we got Immortal Journey. Long ago, in an ancient land, many souls gathered beneath the gods to test the limits of their power. Foolish and arrogant, brave and just, their journeys are written into the immortal pages of history. We've got Enduring Sword Talon. A haughty dragon king of the South Seas, Talon accepted a duel from the demigoddess Aurelia, only to be defeated in his own throne room. Humiliated, he lashed out at her, and she sealed his power within her blade, tasking him with finding a new purpose in the mortal realm.
He looks really young in this one, I feel like. Like his face.
That's Immortals for you, right?
Yeah.
And this actually has a comic to go along with it, which oddly kind of contradicts his bio. So in this comic, Aurelia comes to Talon after having given him his power and then seeing that he used it for carnage, and challenges him to a fight, which he easily defeats him and then just takes his power away.
Okay.
Okay.
Next up, we got Rift Quest. Danger lurks in the land of Runeterra. Powerful monsters, dastardly sorcerers, and mythical creatures roam unchecked. Gather your friends and create your own adventure for 3 to 5 players, vanquishing evil with each roll of the die. Do you have what it takes to save the world and become a legend of Rift Quest? And this is Talon Blackwood. The sworn brother of Twitch Shadowfoot, dashing assassin extraordinaire, Talon Blackwood, is one half of an infamous underworld duo, and the only advanced class in this entire party. He's also a brooding dark elf anti-hero with a tragic backstory who's fated to one day save the world, probably.
Yeah.
God bless that skin line.
Dunk him.
So good.
Next up we got Crystal Rose, and he's part of the Withered Rose part of it. The Crystal Rose Festival welcomes all who believe in its dream of a peaceful tomorrow, though many have grown disenchanted with the whole affair. Those who would make up the Withered Rose wish to see it come to an end, but no one is immune to the festival's charm. Perhaps they too will be swept away by the evening's beauty and have a change of heart. This one's Withered Rose Talon. After the alliance his adopted sister Katarina formed at the last festival was broken, Talon swore revenge. He intends to restore their family's honor by exposing and shattering the entire concept of this celebration of glittering finery and sacred vows. Nothing and no one at this year's festival will escape his wrath. So yeah, I don't think he's going to have a change of heart.
You know what's funny? I think Syndra, very recently, we talked about this skin, and I was like, oh, who's that dude in her
It took us a while to figure it out.
I thought it was Zed.
It doesn't really look like him.
Because of the arm blade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. I love that he's just some guy in a suit. I guess he's got his cape, but the cape does not read in that splash at all, because Syndra kind of cuts it.
Finally. Last one. High Noon Gothic.
I always forget he's in fucking High Noon, dude.
Gunslingers and lawmen ride beneath the merciless sun of the high frontier, chasing survival and salvation in equal measure. Heaven is rubble, hell is empty, and all the devils are here. This one's High Noon Talon. Fate is catching up to you, old friend, Talon says, leaning back in his chair, Predator's eyes gleaming under the shadows of his hat. He still moves like a demon, even warped and corrupted by angel blood as he is. His smile, rueful and knowing, has too many teeth. The end is coming for us all. And there's a Prestige skin here, which, as we mentioned last time, Prestige kind of took over the runway descriptions for the skin lines.
I've never seen this one.
So this one is devilishly handsome and wearing the latest in Western chic. Talon is equally ready to rock the runway or ride the open road. Those boots are made for walking, and he'll walk all over anyone standing in his way.
They were... I mean, he does look good. I don't.
Sure, I love the contrast between that and like the super serious. Like,
oh my god, I know. High Noon is like,
especially because he's the lead of a short story following right afterwards too, which is very dark.
Yeah, we talked about this one, didn't we? Who else?
Yeah,
a tiny bit. Mordecai's, and there's a lot of mentions.
Yeah, there's a ton of mentions because he talks about the 4 or the 5 harbingers of the apocalypse. So this is called The Stranger on the Road, where there's like an old herder heading to try and find pasture. He meets a stranger. So the stranger's parched, so he offers him water, and in return the stranger tells him a story of the 5 harbingers and how they're coming to cleanse the world of evil, of everything, who knows. They're going to do something, it's going to involve destruction. Then the stranger reveals his true form, which was a shadowy demon with 1 heavenly arm and wing. So he just straight up murders the dude and uses his soul as train fare for the train to hell so he can speak with its conductor. The addition of the angel blood to his body, which is kind of mentioned, definitely does not seem to have been his choice, is what I'm getting from this story too. He's kind of like coughing up bloody sulfuric feathers the whole time.
Yeah. He seems to really hate it.
He fucking hates it. But now that he does have angel blood in him, he's actually starting to feel bad about the murders that he's doing, whereas before he just didn't give a shit. But like, he took the dude's soul, went on the train, and then he sees the guy just kind of sitting on the train, and the guy just like looking at him. So he's like, what? And the guy like not saying anything. He's like, what, do you want me to feel bad? I don't feel bad. He's not saying anything. He's like, what? I had to do it, all right? Fuck you. And then he doesn't say anything, and then the guy reaches up and wipes a tear off of Talon's face, which is kind of something that Talon had done to him after he killed him.
Yeah.
It's a nice callback. Would have been better if I'd mentioned it at the time.
Okay, no, it's good.
No, it works. It works in the story for sure.
It was so edgy.
So edgy.
Yeah.
And then we got some fun facts.
Yeah, lay 'em on me.
So Talon is voiced by Travis Willingham, who also does Azir.
Oh.
The Azir one, I can hear it in Talon, because Talon's mostly just a guy. Azir, I guess, has a bunch of like effects on him, I suppose, but still.
Yeah.
His production name was Bertrand, while his title went from the Blade Rogue to the Shadow's Blade, and finally the Blade's Shadow. I wish they would have kept it as Bertrand.
I like Bertrand a lot.
I prefer more. I like the switch of the Shadow's Blade to the Blade's Shadow. They're like,
yeah, right.
It's like
they had that on the board, the post-its. Yes. They kept flipping it.
Yes, just these stressed out like Riot like narrative like leads like in a war room, and it's like, put it back. No, switch it back again. Guys, we're patching in 3 hours.
I don't know if intentional or not, but the change to that, my guess would be because, like we mentioned in the Katarina episode, du couteau is just French for blade. So maybe he is the Blade's Shadow.
Sure.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's too smart. That was mean. I'm really sorry.
No, it's fine. Don't default to trust when it comes to 2011 Riot. Like,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
This isn't today's lore team I'm insulting. This is the people who are like, no, Cassiopeia's a fuck me, man.
Fuck.
So this is so onto the
oh right,
Devin Gill bit, who for the record, her summoner name was Runan. That's where our Runan's Hurricane comes from.
Okay, yeah.
So that was his original writer, and she imagined him as a very quiet, almost mute, super creepy assassin weirdo, and asexual or aromantic, coming across as fairly emotionally blunted, having a lot of difficulty with regular human interaction. That's like how she had envisioned him when writing the bio, I guess. But since I think it was like the first one that she had done, they made her like tag team the quotes, and I think she worked with Alex E on it, and then ended up just kind of talking about how he loved killing shit. She did mention in 2020 that if she could rewrite his script, she would make it to just be like almost all just like grumbles and mumbles and shit.
Sure, that would be almost anything would be like interesting. Like that could totally
be more
work.
unique for sure.
Yeah, unique.
Like he's very generic right now. All of his quotes. So
yeah. And Talon's cutthroat ability used to silence enemies as well.
I fucking remember that. Yeah.
It's fun times. Talon is one of 21 champs without a single ability power ratio on any ability. Talon's dance references Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
Oh.
I love it. I love it because when you spam it the right way, he only thrusts. He only crotch thrusts. That's great.
The only reason Mark plays Talon. Frequently.
Right. He's a Talon main for this one reason.
I should be one for that reason.
Some scrapped spells tested on Talon include a spell where Talon throws out knives to create a slow field, but if he leaves its proximity, it would break the field.
It's similar to Relia's ult, I feel like, a little bit.
Yeah.
He's got a spell where Talon could throw out a knife that could be reactivated and allow him to blink to its location.
Okay.
Which oddly is Katarina's thing now. And then Shadow Assault was originally tested as a basic spell and not his ult.
Jesus Christ.
Are you kidding me? Okay. Well,
are you kidding me? Are you fucking...
We live in a world
TF's ult used to be a general ability, right?
Yeah, that's certainly true.
And his base skin shows him about to murder Helmet Bro with Noxian Diplomacy.
Yeah.
Which we cover in our Helmet Bro episode on Patreon. But that's it.
Yeah, it's Talon. Nice. How we feeling?
Scrap it? Start over? Well,
yeah.
Take Katarina.
Yeah,
take that as the baseline and then build from there.
Yeah.
I don't think they know this bio is still on there. I'm going to be honest. Like we deleted that Talon bio, right?
Right? Who's in charge of that? There's one of the 20 writers we left off. Did one of them do it before?
Oh no, they had the password. No one's got the admin login to Universe.
I'm willing to bet that's what's going on right now.
I'm surprised.
Someone doesn't know how to edit the Universe page.
Kind of feels like it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's Talon. Nothing really new.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Let me get my page up of things I talk about at the end.
What's Talon's favorite vampire movie?
Oh
shit!
Is this like a joke? It sounded like the setup of a joke.
I already know what it is. It is a joke. You got this one.
What? I don't know. The Vampire's Assistant.
Well, that's a good one too.
Cirque du Freak.
Oh, I was gonna say Blade.
Blade.
Oh.
It's really good. It's yeah. Took me all night to come up with that one.
Some Dukutos are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Great Blade ref.
We have a Twitch as well, twitch.tv/Lawrence. John streams on Saturday with viewers, but don't play with him. He's the worst. Although I don't know if you're going to be streaming this. This is already later. Never mind.
I think I will.
I think I'll be I know you're hiking, then. But yeah. And then I usually stream Mondays. I have been sick this week, so I haven't streamed yet this week, which has been a real bummer. We all jump on into Summoner's Rift and either do really well or get shit on. There's no in between.
And we have some replays of that on the YouTube.
Yes, we do have a YouTube, and we've been John's been taking some of the games and putting them up there if you ever want to watch some VODs. We have a Discord. You want to jump in, find some people to play League with, talk about how great Talon is? Yeah, join the Discord. And we have a Patreon. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons. Big Man Gnomes, King of Hearts, Shupa Mustache, Trideca, and Cult for Mark's Beard Wear.
Oh, his hair in general. I mean, I don't know if you guys could see how long Mark's hair is.
It's
he's trying to sit up, but it's still going. Yeah, it's very long. I don't think you've cut it like since I've known you, or barely.
No. Yeah. No.
No, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you guys had failed a mission and I was sent on a mission to assassinate you, I wouldn't do it.
Aww.
That's big of you.
Beautiful. You should tune into John's streams on Saturday. Never mind.
That's it. You swayed her. You won her back over.
You swayed me. And also tune in next week because we're going to talk about the Shield of Valoran, Tarek.